Right now, as we speak, hundreds of thousands of Russian troops are massed on the border of Ukraine, waiting to invade. Mr. President, this calamitous foreign policy disaster is Joe Biden's fault. This is the direct consequence of Joe Biden's surrender to Vladimir Putin on Nord Stream 2. What is Nord Stream 2? It is a pipeline being constructed from Russia to Germany to carry natural gas. Putin is building Nord Stream 2. Why? To go around Ukraine, because right now Russian gas goes through Ukraine. Putin didn't just wake up recently and decide to invade Ukraine. He's wanted to invade Ukraine for years. He did so in 2014, but he stopped short of full invasion. Why? Because the Ukrainian energy infrastructure was necessary to get the Russian gas to market. Nord Stream 2 is all about building an alternative avenue to get the Russian gas to Europe, so then the Russian tanks can ride into Ukraine. But, Mr. President, we had a bipartisan victory. Indeed, the senator from Massachusetts supported my bipartisan legislation sanctioning the Nord Stream 2 pipeline in December of 2019. And when President Trump signed that bipartisan legislation into law, Nord Stream 2 was halted that day. Not the next day, not the next week, not the next month. That day, the pipeline shut down. We had won a major bipartisan foreign policy victory. We had stopped Russia. We had stopped Putin. And that pipeline remained dormant for over a year, a hunk of metal at the bottom of the ocean, until Joe Biden arrived at the White House. Joe Biden was sworn into office on January 20th of 2021. 4 days later, January 24th, Putin began building the pipeline again. 4 days later. Why? Because the Biden White House made the decision to waive the sanctions on Nord Stream 2 and to give Vladimir Putin a multi-billion-dollar gift for generations to come. And in doing so, to set the stage for the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. When Biden waived sanctions on Nord Stream 2, Ukraine and Poland both said it was creating a security crisis in Europe, that it was increasing dramatically the chances that Russia would invade Ukraine. This invasion that we are facing the very real prospect of is Joe Biden's fault, but you know what? It is also the fault of Senate Democrats. For 2 years, we had bipartisan agreement to stop Nord Stream 2, and we succeeded. And when there was a Republican president in office, Donald Trump, I and other Republicans were perfectly willing to hold President Trump to account, to press him to stand up against Nord Stream 2, and he did. As soon as a Democrat got in the White House, our Democratic colleagues decided that partisan loyalty was more important than national security, that partisan loyalty to the Democratic Party was more important than standing up to Russia, was more important than defending Ukraine. And so suddenly we have seen the Democrats in this chamber bending over backwards to avoid stopping Nord Stream 2. Mr. President, I want to be very clear. A lot of discussion about Joe Biden's having a phone call with Putin today. Well, that phone call's real nice, but it's not going to stop an invasion. I'll tell you what will stop an invasion. Joe Biden could stop the invasion today by simply following the law and sanctioning Nord Stream 2. And this body could make a major step today to prevent war in Europe, to prevent Russia from invading Ukraine right now by doing what Democrats and Republicans had agreed to do, had done together until Biden surrendered to Russia.